Good morning, and thank you everybody for coming. My name is Claudia Tornquist, CEO and President of Kodiak Copper. As Misha said, Kodiak is an exploration company focused on North America. Our main project is a project called MPD, where we made a discovery just about 18 months ago, which was a real game changer for the company. We saw a big jump in our share price. We're able to raise $12.7 million. And that made for a very busy 18 months since, where we drilled a lot. Last year, 22,000 meters. And we're very successful in expanding our discovery. And now this year, we have an even larger drill program going on and are working and have the potential to further expand and also make new discoveries. So very exciting year coming up for our company. Keep in mind, I will be making forward-looking statements and consult the relevant guidance on our website before making investment decisions. First off, why are we in copper? Copper really is about green energy, net zero carbon, energy transition. So if you believe in these mega trends, then copper is a good place to be. And why is that? Because the technologies that underpin, that are necessary for the net zero transition, things like electric vehicles, solar, wind, all of those technologies are very copper intensive. For example, electric vehicles, which is the largest technology there, an electric vehicle takes 3 to 5 times the amount of copper than a conventional vehicle. And wind, solar are very similar stories. So no question there will be a big demand in copper coming. The CEO of Rio Tinto said it best in his words. In the next 25 years, the world will need more copper than in the preceding 500 years to allow for any plausible growth of green energies. So a lot of copper on the horizon, a lot of copper demand on the horizon. And what's the flip side of the coin, the other side of the coin, the supply? And we have a very, very different picture there. In copper in particular, not much exploration happened for the last 10 years or more than a decade because commodity prices were weak. And at this time, the development pipeline, the mines that are being built, the projects that are being explored are at an all-time low. Very, very, very little being developed. And this chart shows a forecast by Goldman Sachs. And it shows for 2030 a gap of 8 million tons of copper between demand and supply in a total market of around 30 million tons, so significant gap. If you look at other forecasters, some are a little bit less aggressive, but there's virtually no market commentator who doesn't forecast a big demand supply gap in copper. And so in my mind, there's no doubt we are in for a sustained period of higher copper prices. Higher copper prices are needed for new projects to be discovered and developed. And that's really what Kodiak's business is, development and exploration at this stage of these copper mines and projects and deposits that are needed to fill that gap. Couple of words about the people behind the company. Misha already referred to Chris Taylor, who's the founder and chairman of Kodiak and very much leads our technical work. You will know Chris, I'm sure, from our sister company, Great Bear, which he also founded, one of the biggest gold discoveries in recent decades. Major success for Chris. He sold the company just recently for $1.8 billion to Kinross. So fantastic success and very well deserved by Chris. He's a geologist, very much of an out-of-the-box thinking creative geologist. What he did at Great Bear, essentially, he took a project that lots of people had looked at and couldn't really figure it out. he interpreted it in a different way, took a new approach, and yeah, the rest is history. And Kodiak is a little bit of a similar story. Our main project, MPD, where we made a discovery, has also been explored for decades. And Chris looked at it with a different angle. We tried something new and were successful right away, made a discovery in our maiden drill program. So Chris's sort of ingenuity and creativity as a geologist is a very big and important part of our success. And what many people don't know, Chris actually, his real expertise as a geologist is in copper. He started his career exploring for imperial metals, exploring for porphyries all over North America. So it's very much what we are focused on. And as I said, Chris is an incredibly important part of the team and of our success. Myself, my background is more the business side. I'm an engineer by training, an MBA. I worked for many years, for almost a decade, for Rio Tinto, and in roles such as business development, M&A, business evaluation, so more the financial, commercial type of roles. I've been in resources now for over 20 years. And yeah, so I cover the business side, if you will, and Chris is the technical side. We're very complementary in our skill set. John Robbins is also an important part of our team. You might know John's name. He's a mining entrepreneur with many successes to his name over the decades. And he has put together the Discovery Group, of which we are part. We have the companies that form the Discovery Group. Discovery is a loose alliance of exploration companies. It's a really good group of people, really good group of companies. And I feel very fortunate to be part of a strong and credible group with Kodiak. It gives our company a great network of support and access, for example, to top-tier technical talent, to great capital markets expertise, contacts, deal flows. It's a real good group of people. If I have any questions, if I need an introduction, my first call is normally to one of the other CEOs of the Discovery Group. So I really believe being part of Discovery makes Kodiak a stronger company than we would otherwise be. So that's the corporate side overview of Kodiak. I'll speak now more about our MPD project where we made our discovery. And to start, I have a video that gives an overview. Oh, the sound is not there.
Sorry, one second. I think it's just playing for online sound right now. One second, sorry.
Mm-hmm. The little things that make life difficult.
Explain what a Porphyry project is called.
Explain what a Porphyry project? Yes, happy to. The Porphyry is a type of copper deposit. It's in fact the predominant type of copper deposit. Over 80%, almost 90% of the world's copper is mined from porphyries. And porphyries typically are big deposits, like elephant-type deposits, mines that cost anything from $500 million to many billions to build, and mines that produce for decades and generate hundreds of millions of cash every year. So big mines. That's why we like them. So the projects we have, the targets we have are for big deposits. So if we're successful, the price is a big one.
Yes, I think you talked about British Columbia and the prevalence of Porphyry projects in British Columbia.
Yep, I mean British Columbia or the entire sort of Pacific Rim. It's British Columbia, then down Arizona, obviously big porphyry country, and then down to South America. That's where a lot of porphyry projects are found, and where traditionally they're mined. So really, we are right in one of the prime areas for porphyry discovery. I'll talk a little bit more about where we are in a minute. I don't want to preempt too much. Let's give this another minute, otherwise I'll just go through the presentation without the video and talk you through the story. Yes, I can hear you. Perfect. Thank you. Can everybody hear? Okay, good.
Kodiak Copper is located in British Columbia. Kodiak Copper is located in British Columbia's prolific copper belt known as the Quesnel Trough, which runs through the south of the province. Kodiak has caught the market's attention with its copper gold discovery at its MPD project.
MPD is very accessible. It's a 3-hour drive from Vancouver near the towns of Merritt and Princeton. Infrastructure and accessibility is obviously very important for investment and future development. What's great about the MPD project is its location. We are here in southern BC, where you can work year-round, and in a very established mining area. There are a number of large mines nearby, for example, Copper Mountain or Highland Valley, New Afton. So it's a very established mining area, and everything you need for an exploration project is right at our fingertips, which makes our work very cost-effective.
One of the things I noticed when we were reviewing the MPD project initially was the presence of copper oxides over many kilometers on surface. So what it indicated was that we were sitting on top of a major porphyry system. Certainly the right type of rocks that indicated that there could be a major discovery to be made. This project has the potential to host a major copper porphyry discovery. And of course, with the drilling that we've done recently, we've shown that that's the case. Now, on initial review of this project, what was really impressive is that we had over 100 drill holes over 10 kilometers, and all of these holes have copper in them. And when we're looking at the rock, we saw the right types of rocks and the right types of features that indicated we could be sitting on top of a major copper system.
The MPD project was drilled historically since the 60s, so for over 50 years, and most of this historic drilling was very shallow, almost all only down to between 100 and 200 meters, and that is where we saw the opportunity. So we drilled deeper, we drilled down to over 800 meters, and that's where we got our first discovery hole, right here at this location. It was a hole that was mineralized top to bottom and had a very nice high-grade zone. That was the first time that we saw that in this large porphyry system there are higher grade zones present.
This is some of the best looking drill core that has been drilled in this part of British Columbia. Now we're located here, we're in Erin, and that means that in all the areas around us we have copper mines in both directions. What you typically see in this region is about 1/3 of the grade. The grade that we've drilled here on the copper and gold side is 3 or 4 times higher than many of the mines in this area. The types of alteration that we see, the potassic feldspar alteration, the silicification, the presence of chalcopyrite, the presence of bornite, these are all indicative features of a strong and mineralized copper center.
We made a great start and had some fantastic high-grade results early on in our drill program. We have now gained Teck resources as a major shareholder. So now we have our work cut out. We have a large 10 square kilometer area of historic drilling and have only poked deeper holes into one small corner of it. That means lots more drilling to come and lots more potential for our shareholders. Yeah, it will be an exciting time for Kodiak going forward.
Here's the map where MPD is located. We are in southern British Columbia, 3 hours drive from Vancouver. We just had a site visit last week. We packed the analysts into a shuttle bus, and within 3 hours we were at the project site. It's very accessible, right off a highway, and lots of logging roads on the property. There's a transmission corridor going over it. There's lots of water. It's a very established mining area. We're between two big copper mines. In fact, Copper Mountain is some 20 miles to our south. And in the north, Highland Valley, that's a big mine run by Teck Resources. It's about 30 miles to our north. Lots of other mines, exploration projects nearby. And that, of course, is also a big advantage. We have no trouble getting drill rigs. We have great drill crews, local workforce, everything local. That makes for very cheap and cost-effective exploration, easy exploration, and also, of course, looking into the future for the mine building. Eventually, that'll be a very, very big difference maker in the economics, to be not in a remote location, but right bang smack in the middle of an established mining district. We're very fortunate where we are. As I mentioned in the video, the project has been explored for many decades, and you might ask, well, why has never anyone figured it out before? A big reason for that is that this past exploration since the 60s was all very much in a patchwork approach. There were always smaller land packages, different companies at different times, and nobody had the entire land package. We, for the first time, have the consolidated land package and can actually look at the bigger picture. And for porphyries in particular, which are all about size, that is really what enables you to then really explore the project and really figure it out, so to speak. But another important difference where, when I said before, Chris Taylor took a different approach, where we took a different approach from historic explorers, is that we drilled deeper. All of the historic exploration was shallow, and if you do the math, 50,000 meters of drilling in around about 400 holes, that's about 120 meters per hole, which is very shallow drilling. And we drilled down in our first maiden drill program to 700-800 meters, and we made a discovery right away. Essentially, Chris Taylor's exploration model was that the higher grade mineralization is below the shallow surface mineralization that was found historically. And as I said, the discovery happened right away and proved Chris's exploration model. This is our high-grade discovery hole. That came out in September 2020 and was a real game changer for the company. So we saw a share price jump from below 50 cents to over $3, and then raised $12.7 million on the back of the discovery. Teck Resources came in and took 9.9% of our share capital. They are now our largest shareholder, and that again was perceived very well by the market because it was, of course, seen as a big seal of approval. That was very early on. It was hole number 4 of that exploration program, and they invested $8 million, which is quite a significant sum. So that was really seen as a vote of confidence. And of course, Teck, they have a mine just a couple of miles north of us. They know the area intimately. So it is really fantastic to have them in the boat, and they've been a great partner for us. And just briefly what we drilled there, it was essentially an intercept of over half a kilometer of copper mineralization, 535 meters, of a grade of 0.76% copper equivalent. And to put that into perspective, the neighboring mine, Copper Mountain, which is quite a close geological analog, their reserve grade, the material they mine, is 0.23% copper. So what we drilled there in our discovery hole was 3 times higher grade than what's mined next door. So that's why it created a lot of excitement and was, of course, a great start to our work. As I said, we raised $12.7 million and have been busy drilling since. And these two maps show what we achieved last year. On the left, that's where we started, beginning of 2021. And these red dotted lines that show the sort of extent, approximately the corridor over which we have drilled mineralization. So when we started, it was just a very small 125 meters. And fast forward to where we are now, we've just today released the last results from our 2021 campaign. We have now a kilometer of mineralization. We've drilled down to 850 meters and across 350. So starting to see some real nice size, and yeah, a very successful 2021 campaign with 22,000 meters of drilling. Now, for this year, we're drilling again. We started in March and have an even larger program planned or ongoing. And a couple of more words of what we're up to today and what you can expect this year. This is the gate zone again. And you see the corridor, the dotted lines of where we have drilled mineralization so far. And the background is geophysical data that we got from a new survey that we did last autumn. And I'd like to draw your attention to these pink curved features. People often refer to them as the pink bananas. Those are those geophysical anomalies. And when we did this survey and we compared the geophysics data with the drill data, we saw that there is a very, very strong correlation between where we drill high grades and where there is this pink zone that's high conductivity. And that is very powerful because that then makes this geophysical data very, very good targeting tool. So we drilled, you see these sort of dark lines at the top of the corridor and the black lines and the black lines at the bottom. That's where we drilled high-grade mineralization so far. And it's easy to say where we'll go next. We'll essentially follow this pink curved structure and drill all of this pink area. And the way it looks is that where we've drilled so far at the gate zone, there's still only a very small portion of this anomaly. We've only drilled really the bottom and the top here, and still a lot more potential to make it a lot bigger than what it is now. So lots more work at gate. We're drilling there at the moment, and I think we have a very good chance of being able to really significantly increase it in size. And what's very important, what came out of this geophysical information is that second pink area here on the right, and that is a completely new target. We weren't aware of that before. It's 600 meters away. It's very much of a lookalike, and of course now also very high priority drill target. And if we're successful there, that would be really a bona fide new discovery and would have the potential to really generate excitement just like the first discovery did. So our second drill, which we just started a couple of weeks ago, is busy drilling there and very much looking forward to what we can come up at the second anomaly. It will be very exciting. And then what's important to keep in mind, this is only the gate zone, which is one of numerous historically drilled targets that we will all test. So there's lots more potential in the wider property. This map here at the top shows where we are with the gate zone, this little yellow star. And the red stars that you see here, Man, Dillard, here at the bottom, these are all historically drilled, have shallow copper and gold, already drilled, have similar geophysical, geochemical signature to the gate zone, and have never been drilled deeper. So this graphic here at the bottom shows what this looks like in 3D. We have gate on the right. This is the surface topography. When we started, we only had a couple of shallow drill holes above this orange dotted line. We drilled deeper and very successful. And all these other targets like Man, like Dillard, they're big targets and just need to be drilled deeper. No deeper drilling yet. So that's what we're going to do this year. So lots of targets, big drill program going on. It will be a very exciting year for our company. And last but not least, our capital structure. Just a couple of points I'd like to highlight. We are a tightly held company. We have 55 million shares outstanding, no warrants, and we are fully funded with 17 million in cash for all the work we have planned this year. Our largest shareholder, as I mentioned, is Teck Resources with just under 10%, and management also owns just under 10% of the company. We have one analyst covering us, Cormark Securities, and I think there will probably be more coming, maybe even this year already. And at the bottom, you see our share price. We had a big jump and some big excitement when we made the original discovery. This year in particular, we have a good shot at making more discoveries at new targets. So what we're aiming for is one of several of these jumps this year for our shareholders. It should be an exciting year. I'm really looking forward to coming back with all the drill results from this year's drilling, and it will be an exciting year for our company. Thank you.
Any questions? We have time for one or two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Laura?
Yeah, I was always curious. Resources, it's extraordinarily unusual for them to come in as a shareholder so very, very early on. Can you explain to us what was the reason that they came on so early on when there was so very, very few, drill results available to them? That was number one. And then the second question after that I also want to know is, I see that you have a very aggressive drill program in the process now. At what point do you believe that we see some drill results assay what's from the current drilling that you're doing? And then I have a third question. but I know you. I think that you.
You only have 1 minute.
Yeah. Can you just give us do you have any idea of the target that Kodiak has put on their report for Kodiak?
Yeah, their target is $3.50 at this stage, and our share price is in the 150 area, so quite a lot above. Let me touch on your questions about Teck. Yeah.
Yeah, we have very quickly.
Yeah, you're right. They came in very early, unusually early, and what they really like is the size potential. And that's why we like the project. It has a big footprint, so if we drill more and have more success, there is the potential to be there a real big price and the Teck size asset. They're a big company. They're not interested in small projects. That's really what attracted them.